What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Your man Shelby here, and as you can tell here by the little thumbnail, we're going to continue on from this, okay? So at this point, with this selective justice being exposed, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering right now if this is going to be grounds for civil action or any kind of lawsuits based on this executive order that Trump has put out. And based on my observations from how these things are playing out, as vague as it all seems, yes, there could be absolute grounds for civil action or claims of racial discrimination and even First Amendment violations if Trump's executive order is enforced in certain ways. But it's all going to depend heavily on how it's executed, who is going to target, how the legal system is going to respond. And as of right now, what we know is that Trump signed an executive order labeling Antifa a domestic terrorist organization. This order is instructing all government agencies to investigate, disrupt, and dismantle any and all illegal operations, including terrorist actions conducted by Antifa or any person claiming to act on behalf or even for which Antifa has provided material support to. Crazy, right? Now, experts say Antifa are somewhat of a decentralized group, which means they don't have clear leadership. They don't have formal membership or even a consistent structure. Now, legal scholars warn the order could clash with constitutional protections, free speech, due process, and so on and so forth. So the possible civil rights and discrimination claims, like I said before, are going to stem from First Amendment violations if people are punished, arrested, surveilled, prosecuted simply for free speech, protest, or association, even loosely with Antifa ideas. Crazy, right? Now, not only that, there's no criminal act that could violate their right to free speech and free assembly. You know, if material support grounds used broadly, they might sweep people who donate or simply publicly voice support, which raises serious issues under the First Amendment. Now, equal protection and disparate impact, if enforced disproportionately, this is really going to impact a lot of black people or communities of color, right? And I'm talking about, think of any race or ethnicity that you can really think of. You know, this is going to lead to claims under the Equal Protection Clause or the 14th Amendment. Now, if law enforcement and federal agencies treat similar conduct differently, depending on political ideology, ergo, i.e. white supremacist groups versus Antifa-aligned ones, that could support claims of selective enforcement or discrimination. Now, when it comes to due process, if individuals are targeted, surveilled, or prosecuted without clarity on what counts as material support or acting on behalf of Antifa, they could argue violation of due process, which leads back to the vagueness and overbroadness on laws. So labeling an ideology as a terrorist organization without clear definitions or procedural safeguards is risky legally. Now, when it comes to the civil actions and the lawsuits, civil organizations or individuals could file lawsuits in federal court challenging the order, demanding injunctions to block certain enforcement actions. ACLU or other groups likely to be plaintiffs if they believe constitutionally rights are threatened. If any of this right here resonates with you right now, this is what is really going to matter to whether these actions succeed. You have to look at it from the point of how authorities are going to define acting on behalf of Antifa, which is very vague versus very specific. What evidence or conduct is required for material support? Whether it's going to be enforcement targets, real criminal behavior such as violence, donations to violent acts versus nonviolent protests or even speech. Whether there's a discrimination in how the order is enforced, which is, again, based on political ideology and even race and ethnicity. So you have to really sit back and just take this in as the bottom line of this. Yes, the order has big potential to lead to civil action, especially from black people and racial justice groups if they're disproportionately, affected, or if this becomes a tool used to suppress protests, to disagree or dissent, if you want to get legally about it, or even political speech in itself. Whether those actions succeeds is really going to depend on the court. Now, with a lot of the court orders, and I'm pretty sure some of this is even going to go to the SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of the United States, this is going to get wild. This is going to get crazy. Me personally, I side with Antifa. They are the ones who are anti-racist. They are the ones who are anti-fascist. They are the ones who don't like oppression, which is everything that me as a black man stands for. The only thing I disagree with Antifa is they don't like capitalism. Here, we're in a capitalistic country. You have to, I can't say you have to, everybody has free will to live a life that they choose. This is why we have freedom in this country. But yet and still, this is something that I believe is going to play a major role within the next decade or so. But with that being said, y'all, it's going to be the end of this video. Stay woke, stay informed, keep your eyes open, and keep your head on the swivel.